your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here. Bet.
Like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right, man, what's happening? All right, big shout out to the mighty Who That Nation, man. We in this thing. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. What's poppin', fam? How y'all doing on this fantastic Wednesday, hump day edition of the Coma? I had to stop it. Figure out what damn day it was. All them days be moving on me, man. They be moving. All right, big ups to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream. Much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in here, man. And on this one, man, we're going to kind of do a little recap thing, man. We're going to go over a few things. Dealing with Erik McCoy, as you can see, the Saints adjust offensive strategy after Erik McCoy's injury. We'll cover that. We'll go over a few news, notes, and items. We'll go and play some of the post-game pressers from today. Kind of do a little reaction. So big ups to y'all, man. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all for being in the stream. Big ups to the fam. Pelicans, Nola, big ups to you. T-Mama, what's poppin', Queen? Good to see you in the building as well. As always, much love to you. And the rest of the fam. Young City 9, I see you, fam. Much love. Appreciate you. What's up, Dana? Shout out to the Queens, man, for being in the stream. Debbie's in here. All right, big ups to you as well. Bullet Family Travel Vlog. Brother Edwards in this thing. Be Great Josh. Clint, big ups to you, fam. Brother Trey. Shake JT's in this thing. St. Doug. Brother Pete's in this thing. What's up, Pete? How you doing, fam? All right, word to the greats. All right, Falcons had some injuries facing Casey. Yeah, we are both nicked up big time, bro. We have some issues. Offensive wise, they have some issues. And I really appreciate it, man, you know, going over and seeing what these are, man. And you know, I'm going to have some game for y'all today on this one. Claude, big ups to you. Good to see you. Shout out to you, Antoinette. Good to see you in the stream as always. All right, L-Dub, shout out to you, man. Much love. All right, Lathina, how you doing, Lathina? Big ups to you. See, I'm able to catch a stream. Shout out to you. Appreciate you being here. All right, Brother Gundam is in this thing. Brother Greg's in this thing. Argentine Dogo, OG Jerry. What's up, OG? Good to see the brother in here as well. Who that daddy? Big ups to you. Big ups to everybody. What's up, Kai? Shout out to my guy, Kai, in the building. Big ups to that brother. All right, anybody else? Kathleen, what's popping? Kathleen, how you doing? All right, so Much love, man. I want to always shout out everybody as we get the stream over. What's up, Tuck? How you doing, fam? Appreciate you for being in the stream as well. Lee is in this thing. Big ups to everybody, man. Quavatus, what's happening, bro? What's popping? All right, big ups to y'all. And once again, shout out to Aaron, man, of Black and B&G podcast. He was on the stream. Shout out to the Falcon family members, Smitty and the rest of the family members for being there, Carlo and the rest. And shout out to my brother TJ, man, who invited me on to this the stream. I had a lot of some good fun, man. So much love to my brother TJ. Appreciate him for doing what he does, and we, the Saint community is very strong. Like I said, fam, we are very strong. We are one, in the late great words of Frankie Beverly and Mays. One of my favorite songs of Frankie Beverly and Mays, and it's a bunch of them. It's a bunch of them. Golden Time of Day. Oh man, it's so many of them. I blank out because I had all of their CDs. I had the anthology, but there were some of the albums that had songs that were bangers. They just didn't make it to the radio, so they was just good. Period. But We All One. That's a beautiful song by Frankie Beverly, man. And boy, when he transitioned, boy, did the city put on for him. We must have knew something as a city, because when he did the last concert here, everybody showed up, and I got it. I got the notification I checked my emails, and I was 2 days past the concert. Everybody showed up. Well, it was a day after everybody showed up in white. So they must have knew something. Well, he said it was going to be the last time them performing. We just didn't know he would transition, what was it, several months later? But man, what a great group of material that brother's left us. But that just put me in the mind of the Saint community is strong, man. Strongest it's ever been. But big ups, man. Appreciate each and every last one of y'all. What's up, Big Belly? Shout out to you, man. Dr. Key with the key. Big ups, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you. Omar says you guys must beat the Falcons in Tampa to even smell the playoffs. Can drop the KC game, but not the division game. And this is the thing. As I see, what's up, Ross? How you doing, sir? Appreciate you. All right. It's a lot, fam. So thank you for that, first and foremost.
Thank you. You're fuck too kind.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you for the super chat. And this is some of the things that I love as a person, because it's a part of the process of the maturation of a human being. That adversity happens. The adversity happens to you. It's a measurement in which we are tested. The creator of the divine universe has created these obstacles to test our nature, to test, and not only just test us, but also strengthen us, because depending on where you are in your spiritual, mental maturity levels, you perceived these things as different. Some people don't want to go through obstacles, obstructions, because they see them as hindrances. But if you have a more mature vantage point in your spiritual or mental development, then you would understand that there are no such things as losses, only gains in life. If from the experience you gain the key, and the key is the knowledge to understand what happened and how you can improve yourself from that situation, regardless of whatever it was. If you gain the key from that and you're able to use that experience to learn from, to make you a better person, it's not a loss, only a gain. It depends on where you're coming from. And I know a few people that actually think like that and understand that you have, when you advance past your adversity, because all it is just you having the patience and the perseverance to be able to outlast it. Because rain falls on everyone's home, on everyone's life. It's all about how, if you're more determined than whatever that obstacle is, then you'll make it through and you'll gain the blessing. And when you gain that blessing, you'll have a long period of success before you get to the next obstacle. Because like the great ones say, at every new level, There's a new devil, and each devil is stronger than the one that you left because you gain more strength to take on whatever it is. That's how life is set up. That's how the creator set it all up. So I say all that to say about ours, because I gotta get a game. We saints here, we talk saintly, we empower here. But the thing is, as far as our football team is concerned, this is a great adversity. You lose Erik McCoy. How do the Saints adjust to it? Do they cower and roll into the fetal position and say, "Oh my goodness, we won't be able to do this," or do they gain that edge? Do they gain that perspective of say, regardless of what we got to do, we're going to win? Do they have that spirit as a team, as a collective? That, my friends, is the key. Because we had to be tested. The few couple of weeks here, we were rolling over teams. Then we got the issue. What happened in week 3? Stumbled a bit. But who are we? Who are we? Are our obstacles larger than us? Are they? That's the question that we have to answer, and we'll see. Because time will tell, won't it? It will tell. It will show. All right, what's up, Lori? Big ups to you. Good to see and appreciate you being here. Pammy says, tell them, Q, life is not about the storm. It's learning to dance in the rain. Yeah, girl, I like that. Dance in the rain. Yes, indeed. Yeah, and sometimes, fam, that's what we talk about, man, here, What's up, Black Major? How you feel, fam? Yes. That's the great thing, right? Is with our team, that's what we want to see. We want to see how the Saints, how they do, and that's the standard. The standard is, if we had no standards, we wouldn't care what they do. We wouldn't even pay attention. We'll just discard them as bumblers, stumblers, boobs, nincompoops, idiots, morons, chumps, marks. We would label them as such and be done with them. Who deals with such people? But our team, we have a high standard, and the Saints are attempting to live up to that standard, right? It's all indicative. But at some point, we'll see how our team goes through it, because they are us. They are us, and we drive them. So we'll see how far our team can go, man. But listen, I'm not deterred at all, because this is what I asked for. I asked for not, for tests to see if the Saints can withstand the test. And Kansas City is not it's not infallible. Kansas City is not infallible. They can be beat on any given Sunday. Whoever comes to play will win, regardless of where they play. That's the greatness about the sport, right? That's the greatness. Anybody can lose. All right. T-Mom says I'm about to draw that water. All right, I got you, T-Mama. All right, Gundam says, Q, reinforced learning, wisdom is the principle, and with all thy get understanding always. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that, man. I just, I've been on my streams, I always drop a little something, but, I just feel like, there's a lot going on. And sometimes our people out there, and most of them not even Saints people, but, encouragement is big, because people are going through some things. Fam, recently, let me give you a little game on the side before I get back to my Saint commentary. I do voiceover work on the side, right? And I haven't really been doing too much of it, right? A lot of voiceover work, I just do it on a nine side, but the creator told me, hey man, you need to start focusing on that. So I've been doing it. When I opened the door, a lot of stuff been flowing to me. And one of the things that flowed to me was really dropped in my lap by the Most High. I wasn't even looking for it. He dropped it right in my lap, said, here you go. And it was a situation where it was a company that was looking for me. They said, man, you're perfect for what we want, yada, yada, yada. I didn't believe him at first. I thought it was some spam. To be honest with you, I thought it was spam because it was in my spam folder, and something told me to open it. That's the creator. So when I opened it and I contacted people back, they were legit. They wanted me to do something and you probably heard of this, family. It's for Louisiana, and each state has this. It's a 988 number, and Louisiana 988 is I don't want to say it's a mental health number. Like if you're having issues, it's private, where you can call a number for free, and people, if you're having issues in your family and stuff like that, you can call these experts and the therapists and people that can connect you to resources to get you help, mental health and all this kind of stuff. Well, I was so impressed by the company and what they were doing that, when they brought me aboard, I did the voiceover work for their commercials. So, I've always had that spirit. So when I just started thinking about all of the stuff, and when I started investigating the articles, they had news reports on why they created it, and all of the stuff that I was hearing from my teenagers are really going through it because these social media apparatuses have taken what they created as beauty and they're putting it in front of our young girls, and our young girls are looking at themselves. Many are saying that because they don't look like these images, that they themselves don't represent the image of beauty. So a lot of times, and whether that's whatever the case may be in their eyes, their perspective, because a lot of times they get that from social media people, which most of them are evil. Let's be honest with you, these social media people. And there's been a lot of, sad to say, often dealing with this. It's a lot of depression and stuff like that. So to a lot of people, not even just them, but I experienced people, I always want to offer a word of encouragement to all people, because I know you're going through it. We all do. So like, I just want to offer you a word of encouragement to the best of my ability. And may these words touch you to be better, or to be encouraged to know that you are special, that you're unique, that you're a child of the Most High, that the Most High is inside of you, and you represent beauty. You represent strength. You represent energy, because you have the energy, the G inside of you, which is God. That's representative of God. And you're everything that is royal and everything that is awesome, dynamic, and just empowered. Just be empowered. We don't have that because the images have been taken here or there, and it's just terrible, So when I found out all that stuff, that kind of touched me, fam. And even more, I've been wordy on this before, because I've been doing this for a long time. I always try to drop a little game in between the game, if you know what I mean. But I have older sons that go through stuff, and we have to be mindful of the forces that's out there, because they're constantly at them 24/7. So we have to be on guard. And if I'm asking you to prayer up and warrior up, I'm asking you to do that if you're ready, because you can't be half stepping and going against these evil forces. You got to be totally into it. You got to be protected. And I mean, like, have a conversation with the Most High, develop that, gain strength from that, because when you're ready to take on them demons, you got to look them demons in their face. And that means looking all of the atrocities in their face, and they're hideous. And it might make you turn away because it's so ugly. But I'm telling y'all, you got to be ready. You can't be half stepping, because now is the time. It's the time. That's the time. But anyway, big ups to y'all, man. Salute to you guys, and appreciate you, man. Let's get into the Saint Talk today, man. And once again, shout out to my brother TJ and Aaron from the BNG podcast. Shout out to brother Smitty from Smitty and the rest of the brothers over there doing their thing, man. We had some fun tonight. I hope y'all enjoyed this stream. Big ups. All right, Red Swarm. Thank you, brother Q. That's real, my good brother. Blessings blessings be poured into you. Thank you, brother Swarm. I appreciate the super chat, man. Hey, listen, bro.
Thank you. Fuck too kind.
All right, appreciate you, bro. I seen you in the broadcast, the Saints Falcons broadcast, man. Appreciate the support on that. All right, so this is and listen, fam. We know it kind of fits, it fits, because we're saints. We know all in saints. And if you look up the etymology of all that and all the spiritual stuff that tied to it, that's a lot of powerful spiritual energy that comes with that. So I think at times it's fitting to kind of give a saintly word or two to the family members of empowerment, to let people know there's people suffering out there, fam. And I don't want people to feel like they've been forgotten. Our children, our young women, our guys, all of our young people, even our experienced people that's out there alone, thinking they're alone. Fam, I want to give y'all support. I want to throw love to y'all and tell y'all, man, listen, develop your connection to the Creator, because it's time. Sure as I tell you, it's time. Anyway, let's get into it. So big ups to the fam. Once again, thank y'all, man, for letting me spread that word. Let's get into the breakdown, man, as we talk about the transaction alert right here. And this is some of the things that we kind of talked about with Erik McCoy family, to be honest with you, because McCoy scheduled for surgery at Andrews Sports Medicine. We know that the time frame for him is 6 to 8 weeks with this surgery that McCoy's had. He's a big part of the Saints, what they do. Shout out to the Saints News Wire, Saints Wire. Erik McCoy, and this is Kath Terrell. She kind of talked about this, that McCoy is having the surgery today. We'll get an update on it tomorrow. Saints Center McCoy is scheduled for surgery Wednesday at Andrews Sports Medicine in Beeham. So he did his thing. Noted that Dr. Benton team will likely be doing the surgery. Dr. Emblem specializes in sports hernias. And Kat added that this is why McCoy's injury is classified as a sports hernia. The timeline, the 6 to 8 weeks, makes sense in the diagnosis as it matches up with the timeline of a sports hernia. It's good to know he will be in good hands at the medical facility. Some may recognize the name of the facility. It was founded by Louisiana native and LSU graduate Dr. James Andrews, a renowned orthopedic surgeon who's founded many medical centers in his career. He's tied to Ochsner as well. So and they do, and based on what I was researchers I was doing in terms of those type of surgeries, they're considered some of the best in the country, to be honest with you. And a lot of people speak to that as well. Anyway, and let's do a little research here, because some people say, hey, what the hell is a sports hernia? Well, I got you covered. And this is straight off from the Google bot here. Sports hernia surgery is a procedure that repairs torn tendons and reinforces the abdominal wall to treat a sports hernia. Surgery is usually required if pain persists after non-surgical treatment for 2 to 6 months. And let me see if they give a little more. The open surgery, it makes one big long, and it tells you how I do it. I won't get all up into it, but it just gives you a little bit, kind of gives you the background here of everything. After the surgery, a health team will develop a physical therapy and rehabilitation plan. A study found that 90% of the people who had surgery were able to return to sports within 3 months. 90%, compared to 27% of those who had non-surgical treatment. So this is some of this here is quoted, and the source for some of this information about sports hernia comes from Johns Hopkins Medicine. So you go to Johns Hopkins website. This is where this information, just for the family members, say, well, Q, where you got that from, right? So as McCoy is down and out, fam, the Saints did do a few things, right? The Saints did do a few things. Saints VP and general manager Slick Mickey Loomis. Oh, that's me. Oh, yeah, here I go. Today, the club has placed center Erik McCoy on injured reserve, signed guard Shane Lemieux to the active roster from the practice squad, and added guard Chris Reed to the practice squad. Now, y'all remember that the other day the Saints tried out several offensive linemen, right? Tried out several people, and ultimately what ended up happening was the Saints decided to go with Chris Reed and place him on the practice squad. They felt like Shane Lemieux could help them at the center position. Now, the truth about Shane Lemieux is that Shane Lemieux, when he's healthy, well, I mean, just besides the practice that we seen from him in the preseason, because he really didn't look that good in preseason. But what we've seen from him prior to that, and as he picks up the system, he's been a solid player. His problem has been injuries with Shane Lemieux. If you watch the tape, I remember studying his film, looking at Shane Lemieux in different stops. He's a pretty solid guard. That's been his thing. He can play the position, but injuries has halted it. Lemieux, 6'4", 310, is a 4-year NFL veteran who was originally selected by the Giants in the 5th round in the 2020 draft out of Oregon before signing with the Saints as an unrestricted free agent in the offseason. In 4 seasons with the Giants, he appeared in 18 games, 12 starts at the left guard, and 23 played in 4 games with the Giants, 1 start at left before suffering a season-ending bicep injury. As a rookie in 2020, Lemieux played in 12 games with starts in each of the last 9 contests. So some of his backlog had a lot of experience in college, 52 consecutive games at the left guard position for the Ducks, was a 2-time first-team AP All Pac-12 selection as a senior in 29. He started 14 games and was selected as the Sports Illustrated first-team All-American and Associated Press and US Today second all-team America. So you can see the guy has some accolades and some talent. It's just him putting it all together. So the Saints felt like, hey, man, we could have signed this other guy, Allen, who's an experienced offensive lineman, but the Saints ultimately said, you know what, let's see. We had Lemieux here. He been here through OTAs, training camp, preseason. Let's get a man an opportunity. So the Saints said, we're going to bring him up on the active roster. And who is this Chris Reed character? Well, Chris Reed, 6'3", 314, is an 8-year NFL veteran who was originally signed as an undrafted free agent in 2015 by the Jags out of Minnesota State Mankato. He played in 70 career season games, 30 starts at the interior position for the Jags from 2016 to 2018, the Dolphins in 2019, the Panthers in 2019, 2020, the Colts in 2021, and the Vikings in 22, 23. He also appeared in one postseason contest for Minnesota in 22. Reed appeared in 3 games for the Vikings in 23 and spent the training camp and preseason in 2024 with the Houston Texans. So this guy's been around. You know, he's been around the block and basically kind of guards out as a backup. So the Saints bring him in, an 8-year NFL veteran, and pretty much practice squads him as a potential. Now you bring Shane Lemieux up from the practice squad, replace him with a veteran. But we got to pay attention to, what's going on there for the Saints in terms of guys like Ali Udoh. If the Saints decide to switch it up, we'll see what the game plan is going into the rest of the week. But my goodness, we can't have that kind of outing, man. Now, it's one thing, like the enormity of losing McCoy and everything that he does. There's no denying that. But that still does not give you the excuse of playing as melancholy and ridiculous and as feeble and just every other thing you could possibly imagine. If anything, if McCoy goes down, I want to get that energy up. I want to play for McCoy. My brother just fell, he just, got hurt. Let's win this game for him. Step up. It doesn't account for missing blocking, being weak, and all this dumb shit. It don't account for that. You're supposed to level up. So we failed in that test. And the thing is, the NFL is so smart. Other teams are going to see where your weaknesses are and try to duplicate them to see if you learned. And that's what they're supposed to do. That's how you know you've progressed. That's the beauty of the NFL, man. You can try to attack me and my weaknesses until you realize, he figured it out. And that's what I want to see with the Saints. That's why I'm so encouraged to see how they overcome this. Anyway, let's move to this here, family, for the Wednesday injury report. And they had a lot of stuff going on here. Let me put it on full stream for the family member here. It's the Saints Wednesday injury report. And this is the first of the 3 injury reports going to Friday. We'll ultimately see how everything falls and moves forward, right? So the Saints had 9 players listed on the injury report, and shout out to Nick Underhill, because Nick Underhill said, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. I said, okay. So the Saints had Derek Carr on there. He had a left groin issue, fully practiced, no problem. Taysom Hill, fully practiced from the chest issue, which is a signal that he's back. DeMarco Jackson, who's been dealing with injuries as the linebacker, was limited. Kalen Saunders was limited, which is good because that means Big Bink is on his way back. We might have Bink for the Falcons, which means Brian Bresee then moves back into his reserve role. Bink is back next to what's my man name? I forgot it. Next to my other guy, Shep. So you got Saunders and Shepard there. They're back. Bresee and Christian Boyd and John Ridgeway and all those guys fall back in their regular positions. Now, this is a good thing because Brian Bresee is a guy that's really good in getting penetration and doing his thing. But really, Big Bink is more of a complete interior guy. He's more experienced. He's really more of a balanced force. He gives you pressure as well as do a pretty decent job of stopping the run. So we wanted to see what Bink and Shep can do as Bresee and all those guys fall back to their regular rotations. Of course, Cam will be thrown in there as well. So we kind of get one of our guys back, and that kind of helps that rotation flow, keeps guys a little fresher. So that's a plus to see him limited in with the calf issue. The tackle position with Landon Young, he has a foot issue. He was limited, and we have to keep an eye on Landon Young because if something happens, man, with my goodness, with that other guy. And of course, you won't give him another chance to kind of redeem himself. Ali Udo, he had a terrible outing. And shout out to my Patreon and YouTube membership family. We went over the tape and we were showing, it's like, okay, when we lost McCoy early in the game, you know, you can see certain things happen in the game. You can see the Saints were able to gain on the edges. They were able to get outside, make plays. We've seen several times where Kamara made plays where he was able to run around and get behind the wide receiver on the boundary and make plays. So it was very interesting how the game flowed. But Clint Kubiak getting people back that he's more comfortable with, we should see something similar in the misdirection. The only other thing is the offensive line wasn't as crisp, for obvious reasons. You know, you had guys playing out of position, so you might see a little drop off. But I was really surprised to see that much drop off, especially when you study the tape. There's no excuses for how Ali Udo was not only okay for him being here, but him getting beat so many times. Cesar Ruiz getting beat. What is Cesar Ruiz's excuses? Ali Udo has the excuse, I guess, that he was a reserve lineman. He was called in on the fly, didn't really do a great job, but what's Cesar Ruiz's excuse? I had him graded out as probably he had one of the worst performances of all those offensive linemen. He was severely rated lower than anybody, and not even lower than Udo, because like I say, he was mostly a reserve coming in. But what's Cesar Ruiz's fault? He was thrown around. It was just horrible. He was pushed on the ground. He was the new maintenance. He was the new guy, the new grass cutting guy. He was on there studying the grass. It was just not a good look. He needs to redeem himself. And then of course the DMPs for the matchup, for Wednesday, Alontae Taylor was sick. He was some illness. He DMP'd. Demario Davis had some hamstring tightness. He was DMP'd. Elvin Kamara with hip and ribs issues, DMP'd. Remember, Elvin went down for a play. And then they put Jamal Williams in there. And he ran for like -1 yard. Then he came out, went back Kamara. And they really relied on Elvin Kamara. I really don't want them to try to mix other people in the running back room and don't put all that on their kid because it's a long season. But we'll see what this looks like moving forward. Cesar Ruiz had a knee issue. He was knocked down in the game as well. He was DMP'd, and we need to pay attention to some of these guys moving into the rest of the week and see if they go from DMP to limited. So it might be an issue there. And of course, on the Falcon side of things, you had Caleb McGarry's the only one they had listed here. He's the big tackle. We know Dalman, who's their starting center, has been put on the IR. So a lot of stuff is very mirrored. They don't have their center. We don't have our center. You know what I'm saying? So who wins? It's all about the person that's willing to execute and get out there and overcome the loss of their starting center, who can do it better, who can not have the many miscues. And that's what we have to figure out for our black and gold, to just kind of see, you know, what's going on in that vein. You get what I'm saying, fam? So anyway, man, let's get ready to kind of move into our next area of the show as we get ready to kind of look at our breakdowns and everything dealing with the black and gold, man. We got Dennis Allen we're going to bring up here and see what Dennis Allen has to say, man, for the black and gold, man. So we'll play him momentarily. All right. So big ups to the fam. Appreciate y'all being here. Please feel free to hit the like button as we get going. Much love to all you guys, 140 plus in the building. Appreciate you guys for spending your Wednesday night here. So big ups to you. All right. So anyway, let's get it going, man. This is Dennis Allen, man. If y'all guys have any questions or whatnot, please feel free to throw them in the chat. L-Dub says, I saw where Mickey was asked about finding offensive lineman. He said that there's not much out there, and a lot of teams are dealing with offensive line issues. Does that include via trades? You know, and see, the crazy part about it, there were linemen out there. We just waited a little longer than what we were supposed to, because there were linemen available, you know, prior to the regular season. And a lot of the people astutely mentioned the fact that the Saints went with this backup group, and we had concerns about the backup group. And I just thought about, like, they were talking about Ali Udo playing tackle, and I'm like, I kept saying that the tape shows Ali Udo's not fleet of foot when it comes to being a tackle. And then you place him at guard, and the guys just rip through him. I'm like, man, we might have to, you know, look at somebody else. And the Saints did bring that veteran offensive lineman on here. Like, Ben, this dude struggle again. We might have to put your ass on a practice squad because you need more practice. Marvin says, Q, where is the DT we traded for the Redskins? He's playing. He's playing John Ridgway the third. He's there. He's part of the rotation. But like I said, fam, we've been playing, Brian Brissy is a good pressure guy. He's still developing. I like Brissy. But the issue is like Big Bink is the guy you won't see with him and Shep. Those are your starting interior defensive tackles. I really won't see more from those guys. And I know Bink won't be, depending on how he look, he's limited with the calf issue, been out these last, 3 games. And I really thought that, that as he's showing practice, he probably, I'm thinking maybe for the Kansas City game, but look like this, if it could be possible. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Tuck says no, McCoy is a weakness. What you mean, Tuck? What you mean? All right. L Dove says that's what I'm saying. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Big Bink. Yeah, it's crazy. Michael says Nick said Elvin will play this weekend. I hope they mix it up. I hope so too, fam. Well, I would have to go with yes, right? You get Taysom Hill back, and that's one of the things that Clint Kubiak didn't do. He mixed up Taysom, Elvin, but see, that's what we get for assuming. Because when you've seen the other people the Saints have on the active roster, like guys like Jamal Williams, guys like Mims, Jordan Mims, you would think that he would then dig in and say, we're going to listen, being that Taysom's down, I'm going to kind of game plan you guys into it. We're going to move you into the mix. We're going to try to get you guys going to see if you can help the offense. None of that happened. Jordan Mims didn't get anywhere. While Taysom was out, and he just put all of it on Elvin. Now, and when I see him, I was like, bro, that's lazy, man. Come on. What are you doing? That's lazy, man. You mean to tell me you can't you can't mix Jamal Williams? Jamal Williams is the guy you can't use him in no capacity. And even though the offensive, we talking about plays where the defense got penetration, you put the tape on. There was time when the Saints they were running they were able to get traction on the inside. They were able to run. We watched the full all of the game and all 22. The film showed you front angle and all. Saints were able to run on them. There was times with Elvin Kamara, it wasn't crisp, and they were in wide lanes. There were lanes that would just open and close quickly. But Elvin Kamara was still able to wiggle his way in there and pick up 4 yards on them. But it's when you mix it up, you hit them here and then you hit them there, and then they're not going to keep doing the same thing. They're going to adjust to what you're doing to try to stop you. But we left a lot there. Just imagine if Rashid Shaheed catches a touchdown. Just one time he catches that touchdown or that deep catch, and imagine how the defense then reacts to that as they get scared and they kind of stretch. We stretch that defense out. Those guys start playing off. Next thing you know, you have places to run. And then was this the caveat of the Saints as they wasn't good all game long, but there were plays where they were able to gain some traction. It just wasn't as crisp as you would like to see. But at the same time, it's just one of those situations where regardless or not, the Saints have enough talent to be able to do something. We got to be able to do something, man. You got to be able to do something. You just can't lay down. Philly didn't do it. They didn't lay down when their offensive linemen started dropping like flies. When they lost their best offensive lineman and their other guy, their guard, Beckton. Now, granted, it wasn't the center, but still in all, they lost 2 offensive linemen versus your 1 center, and then they lost their cornerback, and then they lost the wide receiver. He got knocked out of the game. They were losing people. That didn't stop them from winning the game. So, you just got to move and adjust. You got to adjust regardless of whatever it is. You got to figure it out in live time, and you got to win. That's what makes the game so difficult. All right, who that dad says Q, they were getting killed in the A gap after McCoy went down, but there were plays where I seen them where they were able to bend that corner and make plays. There were plays when Elvin Kamara was gaining. Go watch the tape. Go look at the Patreon. I don't know if you're on that Patreon, but there were plays where he was gaining. They were getting gains. It wasn't big crisp gains, but they were still getting 3, 4, 5 yards on them. They were running. Not every play they shut them. They got shut down on. The Saints had some plays where they were getting some yardage. Then they were like some of the plays with Kamara would attack that edge and go behind that wide receiver. Cedric Wilson. Remember, Cedric Wilson set one up where Kamara was able to get behind him. And the Saints had to go a long way to run the ball, but sometimes that's what you got to do. That's why I was saying you have your speed component in there. You got to try it. At least try it. Mix it up, do it. And then they'll have to adjust to you. But you also have to catch the football. The man threw the ball out there. The dude dropped the ball. And then he didn't complain about pass interference. He had the damn thing. You gotta execute, man. But like I said, in tough games, sometimes it's a game of inches, fam. They were tough on the Saints, but the Saints still were able to gain some ground. It was plays where AK-41 was getting 3-4 yards inside. It's on the tape. I done studied that damn tape 3 times already. 3 times already. 3 damn times already. It's on Patreon. All right. Anyway, Darkside says, BQ, after the Saints got that block punt in the red zone, why didn't the Saints run on every down, including the failed 4th and 1, not attempt to pass to the end zone? Car in the red zone is 71%. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Everything was kind of off balance with the Saints. I don't know. I don't have a logical answer for that, man. It's just it's like they were not themselves, they were like the opposite. Even with the one injury with McCoy, it's just everything that people say it was all on McCoy. I guess that's the easy way of saying it, right? If you dig into it, you'll see like what I see, because that's what I do. Like I look at it, I said, at first look, yeah, you can put in McCoy or the fact that Taysom, even though you wasn't gonna have Taysom. They knew that. We might not have known that, but trust me, they did. But not get anybody involved except for Alvin Kamara. Come on, dude. That was before the game even started. We knew that we was who we gonna get involved in offense to kind of make up for the loss of Taysom. Now we just gonna put it on Alvin Kamara. That's lazy. Come on, be real. So and guys get to struggling, pull their asses out of there. Come on, we won't win or not. If the goddamn guy can't block, pull his big trifling ass out of there. I'm sorry. I can't let one player cost me to lose the game. I got to pull the guy out. If the guy in there getting his ass handed to him, what I'm going to do, just let him keep it happen? I got to pull the guy out. Listen, man, thank you for your contribution. Just sit down. We're going to try another guy. We got to do it. We trying to win or not? That's all I'm saying. It's just stuff that we just simply didn't do. And that's retrospect. But at the same time, I was saying this shit during the game, man, because this is what you got to do. You got to keep adjusting. You don't know what's going to work. You think it's going to work, but you have to try it to see if it's going to do anything. If that guy in there getting his ass handed to him, pull him on out of there. Pull him out. I'm not going to let one guy cost me the game. I can't do that, man. I can't do it, bro. I'm trying to win this thing. I'm trying to do this, and I can't let that guy get 74 getting his ass handed to him. He got to cut 74. Come on now. Come on. Listen, bro. Slap him on top of his helmet. Listen. It's all right, man. We're going to put this other guy in here, run him in here, see if he can do a better job. Listen, good try. 74 goes sit down. He'll sulk for a little bit, but he know goddamn well why you're getting pulled out the game. You're getting your ass handed to you. You're getting embarrassed out there. So, I mean, maybe I'm going to be a tougher coach than most, but that's how I would handle it, man. That's how I seen coaches do it, man. Bill Parcells did that. Some of the best coaches did that. We seen them guys out there struggling. They pull them guys out of there, man. Them offensive line and get their asses handed. Come on, facts or not, fam? Come on. If I'm speaking truth to power or not. If the guy, the guy getting his ass handed to him, I'm going to leave him in there. Man, come on. You coming up out of there, dude. You coming up out of there. That'll be a lesson to you and whatever to do better. Now I'm pulling you out because you're not doing your job. I was saying they shouldn't have got paid. That's how bad it was. If you put the tape on, come on. There was times when Penning was out there blocking. Penning ain't blocked nobody, man. It was the play. McCoy wasn't even hurt yet. Penning fired out there and had one guy he missed, 2 guys, 3 guys. He had a chance to block 3 guys, didn't block nobody. The guy, he missed everybody. He ain't blocked nobody. Y'all remember that? Put one in the chat for my Patreon people, man. Tell them what you're seeing, because a lot of people, they're not looking at the tape. They're listening to whoever. But I'm telling y'all, see with your own eyes. See with your own eyes. It can't all be blamed on McCoy. We know he's important, such and such, but what does McCoy got to do with a guy blocking the effing guy in front of him and getting manhandled? Is that McCoy's fault? You see what I'm getting at? Yes, it's big, but at the same time, that's no excuse. You lost them in the first series. You had the entire game to adjust. This is how it goes. So in the end, and then you only lose by 3 points because you couldn't put up no touchdowns. Was McCoy responsible for drop passes? for wide receiver, a tight end's getting pushed on their ass? Was he? No. But we'll just put it all here in the McCoy and Taysom, man. No, bro. They got people win games every day because quarterbacks, they got teams right now, quarterbacks hurt. They got to win the game. Shit, Carolina won their game and Adam Thielen got hurt, put him on the injury list. One of their better guys. Now they got to figure a way. Guys get hurt. It's a physical and dominating league, man. People get hurt. The best have to figure a way out to keep winning. I didn't make the rules. I'm just a messenger, man. I didn't make the rules. But that's why I do the all 22. Greg says, Q in the chance that A.T. Perry plays this week in ATL. Do you think that we need a bigger body at the wide receiver slot position? I don't know, bro. It's every year. It's like, every game is like a healthy scratch for A.T. Perry. I don't know where he is. And like I told you, Mason Tipton has Clint Kubiak's favor. Mason Tipton was supposed to be the last wide receiver on the Saints depth chart. He was the guy when they had the depth chart. They had Rashid, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. Then they had Cedric Wilson. Then they had A.T. Perry, Bub Means, and Mason Tipton. And Mason Tipton was the last man on there. You see Mason Tipton playing more than Bub Means. You see him playing more than A.T. Perry. He's in there blocking. You see Mason Tipton out there. So he obviously has gained the eye of Clint Kubiak. He trusts him. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Clint then adjusts and say, well, let's put A.T. Perry out there. Would, hope that he has some type of plan for him. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on with A.T. Perry, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on with that. I just know Mason Tipton is ahead of those guys right now. Clint Kubiak likes Mason Tipton, and I'm not mad at that. Mason brings a lot, but A.T. Perry would be a force in that red zone, wouldn't he? I don't know, bro. We'll see. Chantel says, Q, you got to bet Big Low on the Falcons game. I would see Big Low in the Saints jersey. That's a good one, Chantel. Appreciate you. I don't know. And fam say, hey, Q, man, you got to get on the wagon. Bro, listen, bro, I'm on the wagon. I'm on the wagon, fam. But I'm still a part of the Show Me community. I'm the Who Dat Nation. I'm part of the contingent that's still on the Show Me kick. And we're like, well, how could you be that way, Q? Because of 3 years. Have we forgot? 3 years. 3 years of what? 3 years of 9 playoff football. 2 games, 3 games. That's not enough. I had 3 years. 3 games is not enough to eclipse 3 years of losing. You know what I mean? That's like the old girl. And that guy messing over that old girl. And that old girl gave him 3. No, you're going to have to do more than buy flowers. Where my ladies at, man? That old boy doing the wrong shit. And he keeps screwing up. What y'all gonna do? Come on now. Let's talk truth now. Come on now. I like to put it in relationship language because people get it that way. They're like, that's more of a universal approach because some people, their principles on football sway. But when you talk relationships, you're able to mash relationships in sports. That's another layer that people get. They get that. If you got an old boy, he's screwing up. He got to buy more than flowers. Come on, ladies. Where y'all at? Where my ladies at out there? You hear me? Talk to him, Pam. Look at Lathina. She says, you right. Yeah. Come on, ladies. Y'all talk to him. Educate him. Talk to him. Tell them. They don't get it. I keep telling the people the same thing, fam. Listen, if somebody messed over you for 3 years and then they come and they act right for 2 weeks, not even 3 weeks, but for 2 weeks, you gonna bring them back on in your house? You gonna start talking? No, they gotta earn that. But you know why they gotta earn that? Because you are something. You ain't no chump. You ain't no mark. Because let me tell you, I'll put it to you like this: if that old girl take that old boy back, that old boy ain't gonna respect her. He ain't gonna respect her. What I did, I screwed over her for 3 years, and she took me back in 3 weeks. So no. And listen, I don't advocate for like like if you break up with somebody, you leave them, obviously they're your ex for a reason. The only time it works, the only time it works is when both people become different people, meaning that both people realize the errors, not from and then point and blame, because that's usually the bitter game, which I caution people do never allow anybody to make you bitter and upset, because what you are doing is you're giving power to that person and they don't even feel that shit. They don't even feel it. You up here mad, booted up, stressed out, your hair turning gray, your stomach hurting, you know, all this kind of stuff, and you sitting there rocking, and they just living their best life. Man, listen, let me tell you something, man. That shit don't hurt them. That hurts you. You hear me? Do you hear me on this? Hear me. That's game. That's why if it didn't work out, listen, fam, listen to this. I'm about to drop this one on you. Rejection is protection. Did you hear that? Did y'all hear me on that?
Talk, boy.
Did you hear that? Rejection is protection. It's a reason why it ain't work out. Did you get that? It's a reason why you didn't get that job. There's a reason why I ain't work out with that old boy. I'm telling you, man, it's other stuff around. You just gotta see. You gotta open that inner eye, man. You gotta walk with it. But I'm telling you, man, at the same time, and I'll go back to this later on in the stream, but that's the whole thing behind the Saints when I talk about the black and gold. If people don't understand, because that's why I try to get them to come out of the fan mind, because they don't get it. It's a logical principle, and people don't get it because you thinking it in that frame of mind. And some of the things I say, you might not get the full value of, because you coming at me with the wrong mind frame. You got to leave that out and hear what I'm saying. Is that at the end of the day, is that they have to prove themselves to you again. That's the whole thing. Because you are something. You are a person of power and of glory and of beauty. You don't let people step all over you and disrespect you. We don't play that. If they come at you like that, they do not deserve the right to be in your presence. And your presence is a present, because there's only one of you in this entire thing. So you have to understand your value. That's what it comes down to. You got to understand your value. I'm talking up here now. I'm telling you, I'm giving you the game for $1.99 in this piece. I'm giving you the game for damn near for free. Just listen. It don't hurt you to listen. I'm giving you the game. All right, here. Latina says, Q, you absolutely right. Thank you, Latina. You see, Latina and all my queens on the side, they know they hear that facts. Head Trauma says, Carr limits QBX play calling. He continued to rely on play action despite the defensive line crashing hard on every fake. Derek Carr limits. You said Head Trauma, he limits his play calling. He continued to rely on play action despite the defensive line crashing, because that's his offense. His offense is to run the ball. And that's what I was saying, though. I mean, this is you're right, bro. He is limited in many ways. And this is no disrespect to Derek Carr. And let me be specific in my commentary before I put DA on. What I mean is he limited is not a disrespect to his abilities. What I'm saying about Derek Carr is the fact that he's limited for his understanding of the offense, because it's only 4 weeks in the season, and he did his preseason, OTAs, all this kind of stuff, and he is picking the stuff up. But they got to understand that Derek Carr, at this stage of his career, he's a phenomenal play action quarterback. And what the Saints was attempting to do in the game was run play action plays. But the defense wasn't biting because the running game wasn't effective, right? Not consistently, because the Saints did gain ground to move the football, right? But the thing is, when it got to a point where he needed to make a play, the defense was there. Like he'll play action to Kamara. Like we seen the play where they ran the ball to the heavy side and the Falcons was there. Now, if he had did the opposite, if that play had ran the opposite on that play, would have had big gains. Like we broke it down on the Patreon special. It was just a learning thing. Like I was saying, I just thought that Clint Kubiak, like the play calling of him doing the quarterback play when he runs off on the third down, I was like, man, what is that? That's not even the right call. I mean, I said it during the game. I was like, bro, that's not what you do there. That's not what you do. That's not how it goes. I'm not trying to tell Kubiak how to do his job, but he knows that. That's just him making a mistake. He'll study the film. He'll put the finger on himself, and he'll turn around and say, you know what? We get Taysom back. We'll try to flow this offense. We'll try to get it better. But some adjustments, Carr will have to take on more responsibilities in the protection schemes. He'll have to take on more of that. That's not nothing new to him. The Saints will have to get their offensive line together and figure out who's going to run, and they're going to have to get get it all together. But scheme is one thing. Attitude is a whole nother thing. You can scheme, but that shit don't mean nothing unless these guys have the proper attitude. And the attitude is to dominate. We didn't have a dominating attitude for the Saints offense. When we looked at before Carr hit halftime, Carr was sitting there like the game was over with. And it wasn't. I was like, I don't like that energy. So you got to have the attitude to dominate, man. You got to have that. And we didn't have that attitude, man. We didn't play with that spirit. That's the thing. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Get fucked too kind.
Because if I don't explain that, man, people would be like, hey, man, Q hates on Derek Carr. I'm like, what? People say the damnedest things, man. I was like, dude, Q hates on Derek Carr. He hates on Derek Carr. He doesn't like Derek Carr. I'm like, what? Do y'all guys even listen? Most of them don't. They pick a little piece here or there. I'm like, what? That don't make any sense. But my critique of Derek Carr is absolutely right. He's a play action quarterback. That's what you get the most out of him. With no play action, did you see what you got last week? With no play action, that's how all the pressure falls on the shoulder. And bear in mind, the Atlanta Falcons will try to do everything they can to repeat defeat, if you know what I mean. Such is life in the NFL, Pamela says, amen. Your presence should be it is. That's what I'm saying. Now listen, man, all I got to say, man, I say, Rose, what's up, Rose? I'm Joe Blow, the lover, man. You should Hey, man, all I can say at the end of the day, man, is that it's all about attitude, fam. It's all about attitude. We have to bring the right whatever collection of players we're going to run out there. If they're not running out there with the proper mentality, the proper IQ, and the will to want to dominate, it's going to be tough. But I want to see. This is a perfect example. I'm not afraid of this. I love every bit of this because the Saints will face the Atlanta Falcons, their most hated rivalry in the history. The week after that, they'll face the Kansas City Chiefs, who will probably be undefeated. They'll be the favorites. Watch out for the referees. They're going to come in there trying to cheat for them. So you got to deal with all that. So you got to beat the Chiefs and the Zebras. And then you turn around and have Tampa Bay, which is another team that's people are kind of looking past. Tampa Bay is not a joke. Tampa Bay is flying right below the radar. I said this before. I see you, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay said, we're going to let the Saints in Atlanta get all of this press, and we're going to fly right under the radar. Okay, we got you. We're going to keep an eye out on you. And then behind them, you got them. And then you got Sean Payton's club on the short week. That's a Thursday night game. You have them on the short week. So these next several games are going to be interesting matchups and a true test of how the team will look. And this is the first really big test the Saints have this year with this new regime. I'm very interested to see how the Saints regroup and how they adjust to the adversities that are currently placed on them. This will be interesting, man. I'll be waiting to see how it all works, man. This is going to be fun. All right, anyway, so it's time for Mr. Clean. All right, here we go. If we hear it, man, I'm gonna play it. If he said we gotta clean it up, man, you know who I'm gonna bust on out there. Here we go. Put one in the chat if y'all can hear it, man. Here we go.
Excited about the opportunity to go there and play those guys. They got a good football team. They're playing exceptionally well. They could easily be 3-0 with the way that they played. They played some really good teams, so it's going to be a tough challenge. I'm sure it'll be a great atmosphere to go play a game in, and we're excited about the opportunity.
Yeah, can you update us on Erik and see?
Well, yeah, I mean, Eric's.
Hey, but see, I didn't want to talk in reverence sake because I wanted to deliver a serious message, but I didn't want to do it in reverence sake, baby. Baby, listen, rejection is God's protection. Does it hit the same way? Does it hit the same way? Does it hit better or does it hit the same way? Then you hear me say it. You see, maybe it does. I don't know. Depending on who you are. Because some people are like, oh, what are you talking about? You know, they might, they don't know. Some people ain't heard Reverend Saint before, but they'll think that Reverend Saint sounds like a pimp. So a lot of times, you know, and that's his background is, you know, he's used to, you know, about the background of Reverend Saint. So he'll tell you, baby, he always got a positive word or two. He'll say, baby, listen, baby, let me talk to you. Can I talk to you, baby? Baby, baby, what you doing, baby? Baby, what are you doing? Baby, what you doing out here, baby? Baby, you can't let go of the rope. Baby, they let go of the rope. Baby, they let some bald eagles come in here, baby, and just poop all over the place, baby. Now we gotta clean all this up, baby. What's wrong with you? Baby, that's not how it go. We got bird shit all over our house, baby. What's wrong with them, baby? And baby, we can't even shoot them. If we shoot them, baby, we going to jail, baby. Did you know that, baby? Baby, they got nasty ass bald eagles all over the place, baby. How we let them do that? You can't do that, baby. Baby, how they do it? See that? Yeah? Yes. We got it all over the walls, baby. What's wrong with them, baby? Baby, they did it, baby. I don't know what to say, baby. They did it all kind of ways, baby. And, you know, see the messages, Reverend Saint. He sounds pretty cool, but at the same time, does it? The message don't hit quite the same. All right, let's go back to Dennis Allen.
Erik's going to go on, you know, IR, and he'll be out for a little while. I don't know exactly how long that is. I know there's been a lot of speculation as to what the terms are, but I'm not going to speculate in terms of the length of time that he'll be out. But he'll miss 4 games for sure, and then we'll go on from there. Caesar's dealing with a knee issue, so we'll just take that, you know, day by day and see what happens.
That's a big one there, because Cesar Ruiz dealing with a knee. How bad is that knee? We really don't know. Dennis Allen says day by day, but you lose McCoy, and even though Cesar Ruiz wasn't playing really well, but you know he got hurt in the game, then he came back. You know, that's another one. You might be down too, like they are. That's crazy. They lost a center. We lost a center. You know, McGarry, they lose him. You know, he banged up. So we don't know how, and it's a knee. You know, it ain't like it's, you know, it's a knee. That's pretty big. So that's going to be interesting to see how this works out, man, to be honest with you.
Issue, the same thing that caused him to came out for a play and then went back in with us.
No, I actually came out because of an ankle, you know.
Did you have any update on the McCoy surgery and how that went?
I know we had surgery this morning. I have not gotten an update as to how that went. Yeah, he's just dealing with, you know, some ribs and really kind of a hip pointer.
DA, with losing Erik, such a key player for you all in front of you, how do you adjust without him?
Well, look, we're going to have some other guys step up. You know, that happens in our league. I mean, I'm looking at, you know, if you just pay attention to the league in general, like there was, I don't know, a dozen or more offensive linemen that went down, you know, this week. You know, so it's, you know, everybody's dealing with it. And look, Atlanta's dealing with it. I know they lost their starting center, and you know, I don't think anybody really knows yet for sure. At least we don't know for sure whether or not McGarry's fine or not. You know, we'll figure that out probably come game time. You know, so everybody's got to be able to adjust and make changes, and we'll do that.
You mentioned a couple weeks ago about taking some things off of Derek Carr's plate in terms of checks the last year.
I'm on it, Latina. I'm on it, baby, because sometimes people like hip pointer. It's not like you don't know what that is, but the fact that he's dealing with a hip pointer. So let's go right here. Let's take a peek at this, fam. You know, we be getting on our little medical game. Hip pointer is a bruise on the iliac crest. I hope I pronounced that right. The bone on the side of the hip that usually is caused by a direct blow to the hip. It's also known as the iliac crest contusion. Hip pointers are common in contact sports, football, soccer, hockey, whatever, They can also occur in other sports. There is a risk of falling or bumping into other players or from automobile accidents, non-athletes, and blah, blah, blah. Symptoms of the hip pointer include pain, tenderness on the front and top of the hip bone, bruising in the area, pain when moving the hip. Hip pointers can be extremely painful and aggravated by walking, running, laughing, coughing, or even deep breathing. Treatment for the hip pointer may include rest, ice, compression, elevation, physical therapy, x-rays, naproxen sodium, and steroids. Oh, okay. Yeah. Who want to bet which one of them the Saints use? Full recovery from a hip pointer usually takes 2 to 4 weeks. 2 to 4 weeks. Pain that lasts longer or worsens after 2 weeks may be a sign of a more serious injury. And that information, as you can see, family, comes from the National Institute of Health. That's the NIH. And like it's saying, the full recovery and all this information is coming from these medical websites. Full recovery from a hip pointer usually takes 2 to 4 weeks. Inability to bear weight on the affected leg, intense pain, sudden swelling, fever, chills, redness, or any other signs of infection. So this is the hip pointer that he's dealing with, and fam, it sounds pretty serious, don't it? But we'll see what's going on with Alvin Kamara, man. We know these guys are tough, man, but that sounds pretty serious. But we'll just have to monitor.
How big of a role did Erik McCoy play in that, and does that complicate the replacement?
Well, look, I mean, obviously Erik was instrumental in the communication with everything that we're doing up front, and so, yeah, anytime you lose a guy like that is that smart, does such a great job of communicating, and is a good player to go along with that, it makes it tough. But we've got guys that we believe in that'll go in and step in and play well in his absence.
You had said throughout training camp that the two offensive line spots you were sure about were Erik and Cedar. What have you learned about the team through 3 games that makes you feel more comfortable knowing that they can find scheme around this, find the personnel around it? Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't really matter how I feel one way or the other. Like, this is what we're doing. We got to go out and do it. And so, but I feel confident in our guys being able to go out and execute and do their job. And we got to look, the players that are filling in have to step up and play well. The players around them have to step up and play well. Like, this is about a team. This is about 11 guys on offense, 11 guys on defense, 11 guys in the kicking game, going out and executing their job. And we'll have 11 guys out there, and we have confidence and fully expect those guys to go out there and play well.
And this was Landon Young available just like as a kind of emergency last week every practice?
Well, he was available. I think we kind of made the decision to have it more as an emergency role, but he was available.
And what have you seen from him since he's gotten to get a little bit more reps on the inside? Obviously, played majority on the outside.
Yeah. Well, we've worked him a ton and at all the different spots. We've worked him, outside right tackle, left tackle. We've worked him, inside guard, right guard, left guard. We've worked him in a lot of different spots. So we feel comfortable with wherever we, need him to step in, that he can go in and play well. Center, I'm working there.
Is Juwan still ramping up after missing so much of training camp?
No, I think he's back to, being ready to go. And I think he's a guy that we'd like to get, more involved. And yet, the offense is designed and you have plays that you are hoping to feature somebody, and yet I have no idea what coverage they're going to play. And coverage can dictate and does dictate where the ball ends up going most of the time. And so, but he is a guy that we'd like to get, more involved. Well, I think they get the ball out more on rhythm and timing. Obviously this is a totally different scheme than, what I say that there's a lot of the run game is similar. But I think, he does some good stuff at the line of scrimmage in terms of getting them in the right plays based on what the defense is giving you. I think they do a really good job. They have some tempo plays where they're up on the ball and they're running a play. And then they give you the illusion that they're in tempo plays, and yet they're just trying to gather information and see what you're doing. So I think this is, I think from a talent standpoint, I think it's a much improved offensive football team. They've added, a skilled receiver and a speedy receiver, and Mooney, who is a good player. Ray McLeod's a good player. Obviously they've had London, Pitts. The runners are extremely talented, different. They run the same plays, but different skill sets, but both talented in their own right. So, and I think Kirk, operates it like he's operated very similar schemes in the past. I think this scheme fits, what he, likes to do. And, I think each week you're seeing him, get him on the move a little bit more, under center, play action, stretch running game, all the things that he's really done, over the last few years that he's had so much success with.
Remind you of your guys' just similar tree?
Yeah, look, I think there's some similarities with what we do, with what the Rams do. Obviously, their coordinator came from the Rams, so there's a lot of similarities as to, what they're doing offensively as to what the Rams were doing. So, they have a lot of volume in terms of just shifts, motions, things of that nature that, we'll have to do a good job on.
I know Ryan is a
Well, I have to say it, man. It's very crazy, man. And Dennis Allen's right about the Atlanta Falcons, man. A lot of stuff that we're doing, they're doing. And I know we got a lot of the Falcon family members listening. This is not a shot at you guys, but it's very interesting to see the similarities, but what we're doing this year and everything, man. And like we said, I think it's going to be a very close game, but rest assured, it's going to be really down to who adjusts on these offensive line issues, man, to be honest with you. Because if I ask you guys, I asked the great Saint Think Tank to Who Dat Nation, who do you guys perceive? What era issue you perceive or is the biggest obstacle to success against the Falcons? If you had to narrow it down to one thing, what would it be? Because really, if the Saints had McCoy, we'd have won the Philadelphia game because they wouldn't have had the adversity of adjusting, and that was one of the main reasons why the Saints, didn't accomplish the mission for whatever reason. It's just the step up game wasn't there. It's like, okay, it was my turn. Let's go in there and let's dominate. We're not going to be perfect, but I'm not going to let you push me in the ground. I'm going to do everything I can to maul your ass up out of here. I'm going to fight every play. And they just weren't doing that consistently enough, right? So in this game, like they've been messing around and they've lost some games. That Kansas City game, man, they cheated them in that game, in my opinion. But they've been a team that's been rusty, but like I said, when you get to the third and the fourth week of the season, fam, that's when a lot of that rust start coming off of there. And that's when the Saints and other teams start realizing what their identity is. And whoever's the first to buy into that, that's the guy that usually takes off. But we figure out, oh, hey, man, we're a running team. We're going to run first and throw the ball, whatever the case may be. But Atlanta has some pieces, man. Robinson and Tyler Algieri, these guys are problematic. So the defense is going to have to step up and play. Now, we had a hell of a time with Barkley. Late in the game, he powered 140 plus 2 touchdowns and that 2-point conversion. You got a good 1-2 combination. You got Robinson and you got Tyler, that you have to deal with. So the Saints defense, and we knew what we talked about last week with Philly, with Saquon Barkley was the first big test, but you want to talk about the first combo test. This is going to be a very good test for the Saints defense, man. And they're going to Atlanta. We have to execute,
there anymore, but like with Terry still being there, is it kind of almost like looking in the mirror with the types of players they like? Even though it's a rivalry, like are there a lot of similarities between?
Yeah, I guess I would say there's probably, some similarities. They've got a few players that, have played here but I have no idea, honestly what how their building is or what they're doing in their building. I know Raheem does a really good job. I've always had a lot of respect for him as a coach. So he's got those guys playing really hard.
Over the years, you being here, do you gained an appreciation for this rivalry? What it means to fans and the cities?
Yeah, absolutely. Back in 2006 when I came here, I came from Atlanta. I didn't get that sense as much when I was there, and then I came here and I quickly realized that it's a much bigger rivalry than maybe what I had I had thought of. Yeah, it's a big rivalry. Two cities that have similarities and yet are different. It's a fun game to be a part of. Every time we've played these guys, whether it be in the Dome or whether it be at their stadium, it's always been a great environment and always been a lot of fun to compete against those guys. And we're all looking forward to it again.
With the way last year's game ended, do you think there'll be any carryover for them?
I think you got a new year. I think you got two teams that obviously feel like they're pretty good and want to throw their hat in the ring. And so I think, look, I can speak for us. Our focus is on getting ready for this team this year, and they present a lot of challenges. So we're going to have to be ready to play.
Dennis, throughout the league, passing numbers are at their lowest point to 3 weeks since 2000, while rushing numbers have been going up for a few years. What do you think is behind that?
Well, I think one of the big factors is the ability of the quarterback to run with the football. I think a lot of people look at rushing stats and they think it's just running the football, but it's, quarterbacks being able to run with the football on, call it zone read plays or whatever you want, quarterback read plays. And they're gaining yards on those things, making you have to play 11 on 11. And then you have the athletic quarterbacks that are gaining yards, scrambling, which goes down as rushing yards. So I think that's probably a huge factor in it. The other thing I think is teams are spreading people out more. The enemy of great run defensive space. And so when you spread teams out a little bit more, it creates a little bit more room to run the football.
No, it's been a couple months now.
Indeed, man. And we got to figure out a way, man, regardless of whatever the situation is, man, we got to figure a way to be able to move the ball against a very tough front that the Atlanta's defense is coming in. Arguably could be a lot tougher here. They definitely have the emotional and the Eagles were emotional too, because they kept hearing everything about the first 2 weeks and they played with that high emotional edge, and it was enough to push them over the edge to get the W, right? So I don't see the Saints having more of a melancholy approach because it's the Falcons. They're going to be bringing that in that high because it's a rivalry game. We'll be bringing that. Hopefully we'll be bringing in that. We won't, lay it down. We'll be a lot more intelligent than what we were in our execution. So, we'll have to see, man, as we move forward. This injury list, I'm keeping an eye to see what's going on. We know McCoy's out for 6 to 8 weeks. We do, but how serious is the Cesar Ruiz situation and Elvin's hip pointer? That hip pointer. Remember who also had a hip pointer? Remember Laddie Daddy had a hip pointer that basically, and the Saints was having more of a precautious approach dealing with Laddie Daddy's situation. But didn't he have a hip pointer? He was out the entire preseason. So at some point, how is that going to affect AK-41? Perhaps Clint Kubiak has to dig into that running back bag, get back to a committee approach with Taysom coming off the chest issue, Elvin dealing with a hip pointer, get Jamal involved, Rashid involved, perhaps Jordan Mims. I know that might be a lot to ask for, but at some point you might have to kind of take some of the load off of these guys that's banged up and kind of spread it out across the offense as best you can. You know what I mean? These are the days. Here's Derek Carr, fam.
Gained an appreciation of how much it means to the city and how basically with fan bases it gets pretty intense.
Absolutely. Me and Foster are coaching my two boys, our football team right here next door, and every parent and every kid knows what week it is. Like they didn't even care about the game we were about to play. Like it's Falcons week. So absolutely. You can feel it, especially once you play in the games. I remember our old Raiders and Chiefs and Broncos, those games, and the atmospheres in the stadiums, the fans towards each other, all that kind of stuff. So getting a year under my belt, you definitely know what you're getting yourself into. It's a big deal. It's definitely a big deal, but it's the biggest deal because it's our next game. So that's even more important.
There having been in rivalry games, is there carryover from the previous year? Because the last one ended up a little bit lopsided.
Yeah, I think I would say early in my career, yeah, because there was more turnover. But now there's so much turnover with coaches and players and things. Like every year is just a new year. Every team has a new identity, all those kind of things. Some of the things, that happened last year. Some guys aren't even on our team. Some guys aren't even on their team. And so it's still a rivalry. You still want beat each other and all that kind of stuff. But like the year-to-year stuff, I just found throughout my career, unless other people care about it, just to me, it's just it's a new team, new opponent that you're facing, and you got to get ready for them.
With Erik being out, how does that affect what you guys want to do offensively?
Yeah, I mean, I always say it, man. You can't just replace somebody, but other guys have to have roles, and other guys got to pick up, some of their stuff to, help, help whoever's in there playing. And so, you can't, just, get rid of Erik McCoy and replace him with somebody. We're praying for Erik and wish him a speedy recovery and all those kind of things for him and his family. But, we have a job to do, and our guys, they came to work today with a purpose. I think the intensity and the mindset, and the realization of the situation was important to our guys, and it was nice to see.
When you just like from the naked eye, the snaps from Lucas Patrick seemed, I don't know if they were like fluttery or a little bit off when he first took over, which is moving to a new position. How important, it's obviously important, but like finding that synergy and that sync with somebody new that you haven't worked with in a while.
Oh, yeah. And, there's, I always say this about our coaching staff. They do a great job of mixing that stuff up during practices too, So, even when, you don't see things, I'm over there always getting snaps with every center because I've been in this league where we've gotten to our third, fourth center, and you just gotta be ready. So there is a learning curve, but you hope that takes place in the OTAs and the training camp portion. So that when that time does come, boom, it's right back to that battle rhythm and things like that. So I didn't really notice like a difference, and sometimes when you're playing, you're reading stuff you don't even notice anyway. But for me, I didn't notice. I thought he came in and it was pretty good.
You had any experiences that stand out in your mind playing with a suddenly reshuffled offensive line that stand out in your career, either good or bad or instructive that you might put into preparing for this week?
I'm trying to think. There's definitely been times where you've had like two guys go out in a game, and you got someone who's never played tackle. They got to go to tackle and things like that. And I remember Caesar did it for us last year. He had to go to tackle. Was that in Houston, right? He had to go to tackle. Nick got his first playing time. Those kind of things. I remember there was a couple times with the Raiders we had guys go down with a knee or an ankle, and then bam, you're moving like it's really hard on the coaches because I was like, okay, now you got to go here. You got to go here. It's you're kind of down that list of like, maybe we didn't know that would happen, and so.
I think I found somebody that use their arms and hands more than I do.
Whenever it happens in a game, that's the hardest part, but when you have a week to prepare, you got those, you got Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning to kind of figure out the best, way to go. You can have a good practice so they can get reps together. But like a specific instance of exact injuries, I can't remember like for sure, except for last year.
Hey, Derek, most of your targets have gone to Chris, Rashid, Alvin, obviously they're the top players, so you want to get them involved. But how important is it as the season goes on just to try and get other people involved? What does that do for an offense?
Yeah, and we've had. It's really been interesting because we felt like we had really balanced plans, especially the first 2 weeks. But just how the games went, it ends up just now you're running the clock out and that kind of stuff. And some guys maybe don't get as many targets as they probably would have. And we really haven't thrown the ball a lot. Just like in attempts. And so, when there's not as many attempts, the targets for, guys that maybe aren't first or second in the read go down. And that's football. So I think it is important. I think you're right. I think it is important to make sure we spread it to everybody to where the defense knows that, I'll make sure that everyone will touch the football. But at the same time, you walk that fine line of you got to get your guys the ball too, that are, number one and number two in those reads.
And then I remember you saying at the golf course that you watch a lot of 21 Vikings. What did you talk to Kirk about playing at all this offseason? And if you didn't, what were your observations of him just running this offense, and was it instructive for you at all?
Yeah, I didn't talk to Kirk about it. I don't think he'd want to help me, being in the division. But you watch him play, and I've always thought Kirk's a great player. Ever since he was in Washington, I thought he's outstanding. He's tough as nails, super accurate. I appreciate, the way he plays the game, and to be able to do it for as long as he has. He's a really talented player, and so my takeaway from it, obviously I had takeaways from it, and how we do things, how you do reads, and the footwork and all that kind of stuff, and it is a mixture of what he did and some other stuff too. So there are some new stuff, but there was definitely some takeaways for sure. You pull from someone that's been in that system, made the reads just like I did with Drew, learning Pete's offense. I just you watch those guys and you see what decisions they're making versus what coverages and why and all that. So yeah, there's stuff that definitely helps.
There's their safety doing things just back there.
They're unbelievable. I played both of them for years now. Jesse's a great player. Like you saw last year, he just left. He left the middle of the field and went and picked off a choice route on the other side of the field. And he has that ability. He has that talent, and so you have to be ready for that. Have a plan for that. And then Justin, I've played for years in Denver. And he knows how I feel about him. I think the world of him, not only as a player but more importantly as a person. I think he's, if you're a kid and you want to learn how to play safety and you want to root for two guys, I'd root for those two guys because they're great people. We played, Jesse in the playoffs, and
just as long as you don't root for him when you're playing for the Saints, brother. Thank you.
After the game, I come out and he's sitting there talking to my kids for 10 minutes. That's the type of people they are. And then you watch them and the type of players that they are, just outstanding talents, but even better people.
You think DA, we just asked him about unique kind of fronts that Philly's defense presented y'all running game. You think this being a copycat league, you're going to see more of that going forward?
I mean, we definitely have to be ready for it. Definitely got to be ready for it and the things that can come off of it. And so our coaching staff has done a great job of being prepared and adjustments and all those kind of things. That if a game just goes all that way, how you adjust and how you do things. Because Raheem has shown that in his past. And so it's definitely something that you got to prepare for, got to be ready for it. And we don't have their script. We don't know any of that. We don't know what they'll do, but it's definitely something you got to be ready for sure.
Derek,
all right, Derek Carr. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, Derek Carr. Round of applause for Derek Carr, man. Shout out to Derek Carr, man. We at the end of the day, man, we have to figure out, man. We got to give him a running game, man. We got to give him a running game, bro. We got to give Derek Carr. Please, let's give him a running game. He's a different quarterback with a running game, and most quarterbacks are. He's not by himself. That's the thing about people, the critiques of Derek Carr. I said it, been saying it from the beginning. Derek Carr is a different player when he has access to the quarterback. He's doing this Michael Jackson. There was no Michael Jackson. It wasn't even Tito Jackson. Shout out to Tito Jackson. Rest in power to that brother. He passed away. It wasn't Jermaine. It wasn't Randy. It wasn't none of them, man, in this matchup right here. It was a different effect without that running attack. It really is, man. It really is. And speaking of the running attack and who we need to pay attention to, making it pop, man. Let's kind of move it a bit, man. Here is, I think this is Patrick. Yeah, Lucas Patrick, fam. Here we go. Let's move it on over to Lucas Patrick. Here we go.
I mean, obviously, you played a lot in this league. It just kind of challenges up, stepping in and snap. Is it easy? Is it hard? How do you explain it?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but it's something I'm prepared for and something, I'm aware of. If something, like last game, something were to happen to E, I know I'm next man up there and got to rely on my snaps and this offense and experience of the scheme, kind of understanding things, even if, maybe different look or whatever, just understanding my rules and being ready to go when necessary.
Lucas, knowing for sure now that Eric's going to be out of the league 4 games, does that kind of help the process a little bit because you got to know exactly that you're going to be in firm?
I mean, that's tough anytime anyone goes on IR. But those are decisions that are above my head, and however they unfold on Sundays is, whatever the coaches think is best for the team, and whatever 5 that is, we'll be ready to roll.
But does it help, I guess, being able to start out on Wednesday and kind of going through instead of, the jumble process on the Sunday when it happens?
It may seem more jumbled to y'all, but we do plenty of rotating through the week. We do plenty of, cross training. So, it sounds more hectic than it looks, I guess. I didn't think it felt that hectic. All camp, I had quite a few snaps with 4, and, there were days where played primarily center, and so kind of rely on that and just kind of move forward and prepare these next 4 weeks. Of course, Eric won't be on the field, I guess, with the short-term IR designation or whatever that thing is now. But, we still prepare as if, because you never know what will happen and who will need to play where.
Is there more of a sense of responsibility? I know it's your first year here, but when you look at the young guys, Guaga and Penning, and you're going to be making elder statesmen on the line this week.
I think the way we handle things in our room, it's everyone's responsibility. I technically may be the old head or the oldest guy in the room, but that's not how we treat things in our room. Everyone's responsible for doing their 111, for coming prepared, being ready. And I think that's the beauty of this room and the guys taking ownership of their jobs. Everyone is just as responsible as the guy next to them.
And Lucas, obviously you weren't here for his first couple of years, primarily a tackle. What have you thought of Landon Young playing on the interior?
Yeah, I thought Landon did great that first game. Unfortunately, I had to step out. He went right in there, and it was pretty seamless. The dude prepares well. He's a gritty player. He's big and physical. Lane and I have got a great relationship off the field, so that makes everything fun. But yeah, I'm proud of the kid. He's put himself in a good position. It's a great opportunity, whether that's where he is or if we need him to play anywhere else. All the cross training he did during camp, playing, I'm pretty sure he played everywhere but center. So, I think Landon's ready if and when his number needs to be called.
It's got to be quite the whirlwind for Lucas Patrick, man, to come here. Because Lucas Patrick was basically brung in here to be he was competing for the guard position, but, Nick Saldiveri was the guy that was, there first, and then he couldn't remain healthy. And then it was Lucas Patrick, Shane Lemieux, and others competing for the guard position. And Lucas Patrick ascended all of them to become the starting guard there. And now he is moving to center, and the centerpiece, possibly the Saints offensive line for the next 6 to 8 weeks. We don't know exactly what's going on with Cesar Ruiz, but he's dealing with a knee issue. I'm really looking at that. So the Saints interiorly could be different when they match up against the Falcons. So this is going to be interesting, man. It's Lucas Patrick.
Lucas, what gives you the confidence you guys can sort of make the adjustments that you saw from Philly's defense, obviously doing some things that finally threw you guys off for the first time also?
I think it's the way we attack the work week. Credit to DA, the way he sends a message to the team and kind of sets things up. I think he really does a good job of resetting and not letting weeks compound to where you start thinking one way or each week's a new week. And that's kind of the message that it's been. I think the guys are holding pretty true to that. So, just gotta treat Atlanta as Atlanta and take some things to learn from Philly. But, it's a very good opponent. Their defense, they maybe lost a guy or two from last year, but I'd say they added 2 or 3 good players there. And it's a well-coached front. It's a, high-end secondary. They're a very good defense. And, so, we got to attack them as best we can.
Lucas Patrick, man, it was interesting that Lucas Patrick, man, like I said, what a whirlwind that he's currently under. Have to be starting center right here. And he talked about cross training, man. We're going to need every bit of that. And I don't expect the Saints offense to be, I guess that would be a lot to heap on them. And I would rather you just kind of see how they adjust to it. And just getting back to the tenets of what the offense is about with Clint Kubiak and having some of those players back. But it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They have to come to play. Backup offensive linemen and all. They have to play. They have to get ready to dominate because everybody dealing with injuries, man. Hell, Atlanta has injuries. We have to match up, man. And we have to keep it winning because after Atlanta, that's Kansas City. After Kansas City, that's Tampa Bay. After Tampa Bay, that's Denver. You get the point. Those teams don't stop. So we have to keep it rolling. Anyway, let's take a musical interlude, family. You mind, fam? Let's take a brief interlude before we get back to Shane Lemieux. That's Lucas Patrick here. We're going to hear Shane Lemieux's short interview. Well, let's take a brief musical interlude, shall we? and kind of be wined and dined by the stylings. Oh man, just a brief musical interlude, fam. As we get back to our interview, man, here's Shane Lemieux.
You know, it's obviously a situation you don't necessarily want to be in when you're losing Erik McCoy, but he might be one of the guys who's going to be called upon to take his place. Just what are your thoughts right now?
Yeah, I think everyone in the O-line is just really trying to band together right now and just continue to get better, get into the game plan, and just trying to improve. I think it's the same goal we've had since OTAs. Any opportunity I get or any chance I can to help the team, I'll try my best of my ability.
How much work have you had at center in this system?
This is my first year playing center, so it's been trial by fire, and I've had all of OTAs, all in training camp, and then now on practice squad, I've been playing a lot of center. So every day I learn more and more about the position, and it's fun. It's a good challenge, a challenge I've always wanted to do ever since I got into the NFL. And this year I took it really seriously, and I've gotten better every single day at it.
A difficult time, and yet isn't an exciting time because there's a possibility of this opportunity.
Yeah, I think this is a reality of the NFL. This is my 5th year now, and there's it's injuries are going to happen. Everyone's got to be able to go next man up. And it's it's an opportunity for somebody. Unfortunate it is, it always brings up an opportunity, and we just got to band together stronger. More adversity hits, we got to get tighter.
What do you think your thoughts on meshing with this offensive line, because we know how critical the center is to any offensive line?
Yeah. I think I've had a lot of reps with all the guys going back to OTAs. The coaches did a really good chance of getting us with every single group, and it's just reps. It takes reps. And right now, I'm just thinking, I don't know what my position is going to be. I don't know what my opportunity will be, but we just got to do a little more to help get us through this time. So, yeah.
Yes, indeed, man. Absolutely. We're going to need a lot more to get us through these times here, man. These are the times, man, where champions are made. The times, indeed, where champions are made. And this picture is so indicative of what the Who Dat Nation is looking like right now, right? And, we're right here. You can see the pole lady back here to the left.
He ain't lying.
This is literally how the Who Dat Nation is watching the Saints games right now. They tilled up on the Philadelphia game, and then when the next matchup come around, when the Saints get ready to match up against the Atlanta Falcons. That boy good. Everybody looks so non-enthused, and the guy in the middle, yeah, that boy good. Now tell me, family, this ain't some of the Saints family members, right? They're like looking disgusted and mad and shit. Oh my goodness, man. Yes, family. We gotta pull it off. So anyway, man, we're gonna get ready to get out on that. Listen, I appreciate all y'all, man, for being in the chat. You must be crazy. The crazy part about this is Eddie Murphy is in the crowd watching himself perform on stage. That dude is awesome, man. Eddie Murphy, man, is a master at that, man. He was performing on stage as Randy Watson. He had to be the barber guy. He's also in the crowd as himself, as the Prince as well. He's also in the crowd watching Randy Watson perform. Dude, see, here he is right here. only Eddie Murphy could be in the crowd twice while he watches himself perform. And Arsenio's doing it. So it's, like I said, man, it's pretty awesome, man. Oh man. But anyway, man, listen, I'm gonna cut y'all loose, man. I appreciate y'all listening to me tonight. Yeah. High Rise says, yeah, all greasy by the face and everything. Yeah, that boy can say he good and terrible. Yeah. All right, but anyway, man, listen, we gonna get on up out of here, man. But listen, Thursday stream we'll have my boy Big Low from that's right. That's right.
He ain't lying.
That's right. the glare from Arsenio's glasses. All right, but anyway, listen, man. We'll have Big Low on the show tomorrow to preview the Saints and Falcons matchup tomorrow. Low will be in the building, and we'll be talking black and gold. So shout out to my brother Low. He'll be in here, and we'll be talking Saints and Falcons on the Hate Week. What's up, KB? Shout out to your brother Damien, Dr. Drew. All right, because to y'all guys. But also just let the family know, man. Yeah, we got the new gear that's available, right, as well, fam, for the family members. It's in the community section. I'm gonna drop a link for it later on when the broadcast is over with. I think the link is pinned in the chat. If not, then I'll add it a little later for the merch. Or you can hit the link tree, and it has all of our websites and information that's available there at the link tree. But the new just in time for the Falcons rivalry, the new Rise Up the Fall Down gear is available. To Rise Up the Fall Down gear is available on our merch store. So if you guys want to check it out, you can feel free to go and get you Rise Up the Fall Down. It's the first time we play the Falcons. I think we play them again in week number 10. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But we got them all. The Rise Up the Fall Down gear is available in different colors and everything like that there. And also you can go on the merch shop and you can get it. I think right now you can still get 20 to 40% off on the Rise Up the Fall Down gear. Is just in time. And we were supposed to release the Show Me shirts. That'll be available Friday. We had to change it because a lot going on, fam. I got so much I'm doing. So we'll be releasing that Friday. The Show Me gear will be available Friday, but the Rise Up the Fall Down gear in respect of our Atlanta Falcon family, it's available on our merch stores. The links in the description section. You can hit the link tree and go to any one of the merch stores. They'll give you a discount on it. Oh man, I'm just too petty with it, man. But that's all right. We love it. We love it. All right. So anyway, man, I'm gonna get on up out of here, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Much love to the fam, man. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow with Low. We'll holler at you later. Much love, peace, and who that tell you.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a Falcon. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Bet Online. The game starts here.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps